Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Adam Knight from Riverside Theater. Adam, of course, is the director of the theater, and you get to direct this play.
You know, there are a lot of joys in this job, and one of them is directing beautiful new plays straight from New York. This play is A Case for the Existence of God by Samuel D. Hunter.
And he's one of our own. We claim him.
Yeah, he was a graduate of the MFA Playwrights Workshop. He was actually roommates with my predecessor, Sean Christopher Lewis, so put that in your pipe and smoke it. And just a fantastic award-winning playwright throughout the years. He's a MacArthur Fellow. He also wrote the Academy Award-winning film The Whale, which was premiered last year.
Yeah, because it was from his play, right?
Exactly.
But then he also wrote the screenplay.
He also wrote the screenplay.
Which you don't always get to do.
No. And I would say, for me, it's the best film adaptation of a play I've ever seen. It was a fantastic movie. I really encourage your listeners to see it if they haven't. I was kind of on edge seeing it. I was thinking, oh gosh, do I really want to see a movie about this? And yet it incredibly moved me. I found it inspiring. And really, I think that Samuel is writing about stuff that no other screenwriter or playwright in America is writing about.
But of course, that's not the play we're talking about. As good as it is.
Right.
So I'm sure that everyone is having this same reaction, and maybe you did when you first looked at the play. So, A Case for the Existence of God, and you're thinking, oh man, heady stuff. And then you read the synopsis: two guys applying for a loan.
Right. You think it's going to be about like two monks in the hills of Genoa or whatever. But no, it takes place in Twin Falls in Idaho, where a lot of Samuel's work takes place in Idaho. And yeah, it's two fellows in a cubicle. One of them's applying for a loan. And you think, okay, where's this going? And where it goes is a play that really explores, I think, this epidemic of male loneliness, which I've been reading about and kind of learning about, especially for this play, which is that men in this country have a hard time connecting with other men. And also, they're feeling more and more disconnected in this more and more connected internet age. Now, of course, it's not always easy to feel sad for men, because men are often very privileged in our society. But as society is changing rapidly, more and more men are finding themselves isolated. And this play, I think, really explores this in funny, surprising ways.
Yeah. So men, think about that. Think about your friends. Think about the how often you see your friends. What do you talk about? And think and you may think, and I've been in. I'd like to say I have a nice network now, but I haven't always.
Right.
That you don't have that kind of supportive group that you can talk about what's on your mind to. That's not what we do.
It's not what
as
we
men
do.
in America.
We don't hold each other, and this play also deals with parenthood. Both of these men are new parents. They both have little girls who are just over a year old. One of them is fostering to adopt. The other is getting a divorce. And also coming to terms with themselves as caretakers, which, again, is not something that men are often seen as.
So it's there's a lot going on here, a lot to unpack. So, is it stressful to watch? Is it funny? Is it sad? Is it all of the above?
All of the above? I mean, I think of this play as like this really interesting little jewel box. Oftentimes at Riverside, and oftentimes in the theater in general, we see plays that really use every inch of the stage, musicals kind of bombasting the audience with visuals and dance. This play takes place in a cubicle. And so people coming into Riverside will see this very tight scene that actually moves very little. And so it is this kind of cinder box, or tinder box rather, that kind of you're waiting for it to catch fire. And when it does, I think it's very unique and beautiful. It's a play that challenges audiences to listen in a new way. And I think the artists involved are being challenged to really find a level of specificity and depth to their work that few plays ask of us.
I'm guessing that in the same way that men's emotions are sometimes constrained from a design perspective and a directing perspective, you try to find ways to feel that physical constrainment on the set too.
Exactly. We've got a fantastic design team. Shout out to Mariana Coffey.
Right here at Kirkwood, she's helps run our theater here at Kirkwood.
Yeah, fantastic designer. I worked with her before on Henry V in the park, and here she's created a set that looks and feels like a cubicle. It's essentially an 8-foot by 8-foot square where the actors are acting 90% of the play. And it's really exciting to see this little box be filled with drama.
It makes, I'm thinking Office Space for some reason.
Exactly. Yeah. And how we can find the drama in this very mundane place is one of the joys of the piece.
I think I ask you this question every time you come in, but from the time that you read it to the time that you started working with the actors and got it on stage and started watching it, what changed? What surprised you? Is there anything in the beginning that you thought one way and then really changed your mind?
Well, one of the stage directions at the very top of the play says that the two men do not get out of their chairs unless indicated. And let me tell you that there is a lot of the play before that indication happens. And so as a director, and I tend to really stage the hell out of plays, wow, how do you work within these limitations?
Well, again, talk about constraining.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, okay, we're sitting this whole time. How do we keep that interesting? How do we keep ourselves engaged and the audience engaged? And again, it's this kind of slow burn that steadily builds this tension. That's what I think the film The Whale does, and that's what this play does. I've never read a play that does that. From the minute I started reading it, I just felt this like bubbling up inside of me. I didn't know what it was. I don't know how Sam does it, but it's real, and that's something that I think this production is capturing.
One of my favorite things that you almost always do with your plays is you do talkbacks.
Yeah.
And I know you've got one scheduled for this play as well.
Exactly. And oftentimes we partner with Professor Emeritus Miriam Gilbert, who's just an amazing mind, not only about Shakespeare, but about contemporary work. And she'll be leading a talkback after the 2 p.m. matinee on January 21st.
It's a case for the existence of God. And how many weekends will it run?
3 weekends. We open on January 19th and run through February 4th. I happen to have a coaster right here because we're sponsored by Mickey's Irish Pub. And if you think that Mickey's doesn't have anything to do with faith in God, well, I think that you're wrong. I think that a big turning point of this play is when these two men bond over a night of whiskey. And so there is the connection, and maybe you'll find a little bit of God in a pint at Mickey's after the show.
Well, I was just going to say that if there is one place where men have traditionally been comfortable sharing their deepest feelings, it's at a bar.
Exactly.
The play is A Case for the Existence of God, opening January 19th at Riverside Theater. Once again, Adam, you've found a gem for us to watch, and thank you for that. And hope the run goes well, and come see us again for the next show.
Great, thanks. And folks can visit www.riversidetheater.org for tickets and more info.
All right. Thanks again for being here.
Great to see you.
You can hear The Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or using your favorite podcast app. Our video producer is Lydia Kilgore. I'm Dennis Green. I'll talk to you later.